Hey guys, this is Naresh here. In this video series, I will explain how to build a hybrid framework. Now, in order to understand hybrid framework, let me bring up my OneNote. So, under this discussion, I'll be covering following things. I'll talk about what is a framework and why do we make use of framework. After that, I will talk about what is single and multi-dimensional arrays. Then I will talk about what is properties file and how to read data from properties file. And then eventually I will talk about how to read data from Excel sheet. Now all of these are prerequisite for creating a framework. So let's start to look at it one by one. So first of all, I will take up what is a framework. So now in order to understand what is a framework, you can go here on my website. If you will go to connect2tech.in blog page 5, here you will find a blog with the name or the title, what is a framework. So I'll click on the title here. Okay, so let's get started. Now I have given a detailed discussion of framework with respect to software design and maybe other frameworks like Java J2E, and I've taken the definition from Wikipedia as well. But for this discussion, I'm only going to focus on explaining this paragraph, and with this paragraph, we will get the essence of why do we build a framework, and that should be sufficient for us to move on to the next item or next topic. I will later on visit once again this definition when we are actually building the framework with the help of the code. Okay, so for now, in order to set the grounds or set our understanding of framework, let's understand this definition and then we'll get into details of it later on. Okay, so I'm reading here. If I told you to cut a piece of paper with dimension 5 by 5, then surely you would do that, right? But suppose I ask you to cut 1,000 pieces of paper of same dimension. In this case, you won't do measuring 1,000 times. Obviously, you would make a frame of 5 by 5, and then with the help of it, you would be able to cut 1,000 pieces of paper in less time. So let me try to explain this statement to you. So I'll go to my drawing board here. Now, what we are trying to do is that we have a big sheet of paper, right? Now I have to cut it in, let's say dimension of 5 by 5. So I will create a square maybe of dimension 5 by 5, and then I will use this and put it on the big piece of paper and cut 5 by 5. Then I'll move it here, cut 5 by 5, right? So this is how you're going to do. So the benefit is that you have done measuring only once, and after the measuring, you will just use this green color frame and cut that entire paper in the required dimension, right? So I'm reading here now. So what you did was make a framework which would do a specific type of task. In this case, what is the specific task? We are cutting the big paper into a small paper or small pieces with dimension 5 by 5, right? So instead of performing the same type of task again and again for the same type of application, what you do is you create a framework like this frame which we created here, or an outline or a structure. You create a framework having all those facilities together in one nice packet, hence providing the abstraction for your application and more importantly many applications. So I hope you at least get an essence of what is a framework. It is like an outline or a structure which solves a specific problem. Now when you're working in an organization and when you're doing testing, you tend to solve a specific problem, and that problem has to be let's say tested repetitively once, twice, number of times over and over again. So what you have to do is you have to build a structure or an outline, or you can call it as a framework also, so that the task which you do repetitively over and over again, that becomes easy for you to do, right? With this discussion, I'm just setting the grounds to explain to you what is a framework. But don't worry, I'm going to talk about this definition once again with the actual code when we target the actual framework with the help of programming and supporting code. So I hope we have the clarity of what is a framework, and from here on I'll move on to the next item. So the next item in our discussion is going to be how to read data from single and multi-dimensional array. So I will be covering what is single and multi-dimensional array in the next video in this series of building a hybrid framework.